Hello. One of the things that happens to all of us, if you're in a relationship with a person like this, you end up distancing yourself from your family and friends and you isolate yourself. It can happen to anyone that is in a relationship like this. And it does, I think, to all of us. And the reasons are vast, but a simple one is you don't even feel like you're part of the world anymore. You feel removed from everybody. You have this big thing going on that either somebody doesn't know about, so that makes you feel removed, or if your friends or family do know about it, then they're wondering why you're still in it. Because, of course, unless you're in it or have been through this, it's very difficult to explain this to somebody else. You even choose to isolate when you could go out. Say, for example, I knew somebody once that the narcissist would go out. She would say no to spending time. She had hours and hours and hours. That narcissist wasn't coming home until 2 a.m. And she knew that he was going to come in drunk, not be nice, but she stayed home. Because how are you going to go out knowing that that's happening to you? Even if you went out and were home by 10 o'clock and you had a great night with girlfriends, whatever, how could you have a great night knowing what's to come? So it's very isolating. You choose to stay home, even on nights that you could go out. The isolation is what I want you to bask in. And the way to do that is you can either spend a lot of that time anxious and worried about the future or sad and regretful about the past. Or you can choose to remain in your present moment and think about the blessings and joy that are around you. I've become very good at that. This is a Buddhism philosophy, and I've been reading Buddhism for 30 years. And it takes work, it takes practice, and it takes a lot of concentration. But you have to just sit. The only place that we have control over is right now. The future, you can be anxious and worried all you want. No control over it. The past, you can be sad and regretful all you want. No control. Now, I've learned I totally accept my path. I like where I've landed. I appreciate the journey. So that's another thing that you can work on if you're sad and regretful. Try to look at where you landed and look around for joy. Now, you might say, Renee, I have no joy. Trust me. And your situation might be awful, and I'm not saying it isn't. But think about health. Do you have health? Renee, I don't. No, I'm not. Okay. Do your children have health? Your parents, people around you, friends, family. I always think about health because, of course, that's the most important thing. So feel grateful for the blessings and the joy of the healthy people you think in your mind that have that gift of health. Think about, your children, your parents, your job, anything around you that you think is joyful. I want you to revel in that. And if you still can't come up with any joy, then go find some. Go volunteer somewhere. It is impossible not to feel good about yourself and joyful once you volunteer. It's mathematically impossible to not feel good about yourself once you volunteer. Renee, I don't have time to volunteer. Okay, then this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, I'm going to read this to you. I don't want to get it wrong. It's very short. It's by Britton Oakman. If you're sitting isolated in your house and just listen. I lied and said I was busy. I was busy, but not in a way most people understand. I was busy taking deeper breaths. I was busy silencing irrational thoughts. I was busy calming a racing heart. I was busy telling myself I am okay. Sometimes this is my busy, and I will not apologize for it. Let your busy be that, but at least let it be that. Take deeper breaths. Silence irrational thoughts. Calm your racing heart and tell yourself you're okay. Even if you don't feel okay. You might be looking in the mirror, listening to this video on the counter going, I certainly don't look okay. Or last night did not seem okay. Or the fight we had today certainly didn't seem okay. Or maybe you've broken up and I certainly don't feel okay. But you're in your present moment with yourself. It's a gorgeous day wherever you are. Think of whatever. Do you have a pet? Do you have if you learn to embrace your present moment and the joy that it represents, and it does and has to represent some joy for everyone. There's something, and if you think of it, then concentrate on that while you're sitting there isolated. And I understand the isolation. It's a tricky thing. It is tricky because then when you start to try to snap, and maybe it's a control thing and you're stuck in the house or whatever, and they tell you not to see your friends and family, that can happen. That absolutely can happen. If they're that kind of controlling narcissist that they tell you, you know, and then you start to listen and you believe them, but the more you learn, the more we do, right? Okay, so when you have time and you are isolated, tell yourself you're okay. Count your blessings around you and rely on that strength to build yourself back up. Even if you feel stuck in your situation, that does not mean that you can't be strong on the inside and take some power back on the inside, even if it's just for yourself. It's vital to your mental well-being that you don't further isolate and disenfranchise from the entire planet. I get it. It's, you don't want to even talk to people. What would you say? You know what's happening in your life. You feel removed from them. Get in touch with your own joy and your own blessings and your own appreciation for your present state, whatever is good, first. And then move on to think about and be anxious about the future. Or you can be sad about something in the past, but don't dwell on it. That'll make you depressed. Revel in the now, just the now. Find your blessing and your joy, and think about that.